F1 GT3 1 hour endurance series. We have finally left the US of A and are here in Germany at the treacherous Nurburgring 24-hour circuit. Now, as always, standings are posted in the description. I've decided to include the Constructors Standings as well, despite the fact that Alfa Romeo only has one driver. Alright, that's alright though, since they didn't really seem to be competitive anyways. Today is going to be a much different race. A lot of teams have brought upgrades to their cars, especially some of the teams that haven't been performing too well. Redbull has brought a new car completely. They have a new 4GT at the helms of their drivers. And Alpine has switched out their RS01 with a slightly different chassis, try and help them maybe score a point for once. A couple teams have brought a little different for a setup. Some teams might have a little more power. We'll just have to see how all these upgrades shake out. And without further ado, Carlos Sainz takes the green flag as your championship leader. But Fernando Alonso immediately pounces on Charles Leclerc for second. Around goes Hamilton. Oscar Piastri tries to make a move. Leclerc's had a terrible start. Lance Stroll now maybe trying to make a move. What a terrible start for Charles Leclerc there. He went down from second to fifth. Magnussen threw on Stroll. Can he hold it? Yes, he can. George Russell up to 9th. Valtteri Bottas up to 12th. The Alfa Romeo, the few upgrades from last time. The Williams also running a new car. Forgot to mention that. They've signed a deal with Jaguar to stop feeding off of Mercedes. The Ferrari's still been the dominant cars this season. Can Alonso make a move down the inside of Sainz? He's there, but Sainz trying to push him out wide, trying to force him off circuit. He doesn't want to let him through. Lewis Hamilton up to 3rd. Oscar Piastri up to 4th after that start. The Ferrari not really bringing any upgrades. The team didn't feel like they needed to change their car after having 2 wins this season. Aston Martin, on the other hand, I believe they also have the same car, but Alonso's turning up the heat this time out. We have a huge straight on this track, which could be the site of a couple of overtakes. Bottas nearly running at the points. Sergio Perez up to 13th. Verstappen down at 16th. The Alpines brought some upgrades, but not really sure if it's going to do anything. Sainz into the technical part of the Nordschleife section of the Nürburgring. Alonso right on the back bumper of Sainz. Will he try and make a move? Here they are side by side. Not quite. That's a really fast corner. Alonso looks quicker. He's using more tires and more fuel than Carlos Sainz, but he also seems to have more pace. Ferrari may need to bring some upgrades to keep that car competitive if they want to see through a championship victory. Lewis Hamilton under attack from Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri makes the move. Lance Stroll maybe looking to make a move on Hamilton. Mercedes brought a few upgrades, but Stroll does have front-end damage. He makes his way through on Lewis Hamilton. who tries to protest the move but can't quite do so. Leclerc, rear end damage. Other than that, no damage throughout the rest of the field except for Hulkenburg with rear end damage. Ocon has front end damage. Can Alonso make a move on Carlos Sainz, or will Carlos Sainz hold him off in an attempt to win his third race of the season? Only driver so far to win more than one race. Other race winners, Oscar Piastri running up front. But Charles Leclerc, the other race winner, down in 6th. This Ferrari not looking as fast as it has been in the past compared to the field. Would not be surprised if we see the team trying to roll in upgrades for Spa next race tomorrow. Oh, Alonso side by side. Does he get the move made on Sainz? He does. He's a whole car in front now. That Aston Martin's been a mighty quick car in the straights, but this Ferrari's been great in the corners the whole season. Aston Martin worked a lot on the straight line speed of their car. Ferrari focused more on the corners, and they may need to focus on the engine of that car soon. McLaren also focusing on their engine development for this season. Lance Stroll and Kevin Magnussen, but Oscar Piastri makes a mistake. He's lucky to not have picked up damage during that. He even got under Stroll, who now is up into 3rd, but struggling with front end damage. Kevin Magnussen up to 5th. Lewis Hamilton down in 6th now. Mercedes brought an upgrade, but not enough. Alonso running away with it. Piastri, can he catch back up to these two after his mistake? There is no room for error at the Nurburgring as Norris now trying to make his way around Leclerc, who's down to 7th. The Audis also bring upgrades, the AlphaTauri team. Sergio Perez, maybe could he score his first point of the season? Oh, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties because I have a blank screen. There we are. Sainz remains P2. Alonso, gone. Stroll now, can he make the move on Sainz down the straight? Even with a little bit of damage, that Aston is mighty quick. Piastri, can he make up some ground? Magnussen, that Viper's been very quick for Haas. Lewis Hamilton, maybe getting eaten alive. Here comes Lando Norris. Past the Ferrari for 7th. What about the AlphaTauris? Can they gobble up Leclerc? They are a little quicker, but they do have the slipstream to their advantage. Yuki Tsunoda now. Stroll likely to come in. Oh, Alonso comes in. He did not have enough fuel to make another lap. Stroll had to pit. He had damage. Piastri also needed to pit. Norris in. Hamilton in. The AlphaTauris managed to stay. The AlphaTauris managed to stay out. A lot of cars can't make it more than a lap on fuel. Valtteri Bottas able to stay out. Logan Sargeant able to stay out. Down the inside of George Russell, the American into 4th. Has not scored at all this season. He started back at 16th. Oh, he runs wide, but he stays ahead of Bottas. Alonso rejoining in 7th. Pierre Gasly trying to make a move on Piastri. Gasly had enough fuel to go an extra lap, maybe even 2 extra laps. Those Alpines very good on fuel. Very good on fuel. Not even the Ferrari has that much. Leclerc had to come in. He must have picked up some damage. He is down in P15. Albon in 16th. Had to come in. I apologize for all this black screen I'm getting, but there's nothing I can do about it. Will Logan Sargeant be able to make a move on George Russell? And will it rain? The weather is set to random in every race, and this is a track where rain can happen. It is not a guarantee, but it is a possibility. That Williams car looks quick, but not easy to control, as Alonso chases down Bottas. Sainz still leads from Tsunoda from DeVries. The Williams may be looking to make a move on the Mercedes George Russell here sometime soon. Logan Sargeant connecting with that new car quite easily. Valtteri Bottas now going to have to worry about Fernando Alonso and potentially Gasly behind. That new Alpine, a lot better than the old one. Here goes Alonso. They're side by side, but Bottas covers him off. Gasly now having to worry about the McLaren of Piastri and the Aston Martin of Stroll behind. Sargeant on the back of George Russell. This is the fight for 4th. As it gets dark here in Nurburgring, Germany. Carlos Sainz, with his fuel, may find himself in the winner's circle for a 3rd time this season. as the pair of Sargeant and Russell start to catch up to Nick DeVries in the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri's gonna have to watch out for these three as Alonso's coming back. But is he saving enough fuel to not have to pit every single lap? Logan Sargeant looking for room, but nowhere to go to make a move on George Russell. Dirty air from Nick DeVries may now start affecting George Russell. Logan Sargeant looking side by side. Oh, Logan Sargeant into fourth. What a move. That took some balls to be on side by side through there. George Russell didn't back out of it though, so he didn't lose a lot of time, just wasn't able to stay in front of the Williams, who's now coming after DeVries. Sargeant from no points scored to a podium. That would be one hell of a shift in momentum for the American. Now George Russell going to be under attack from Fernando Alonso. Sainz off in his own world. The Williams quick in a straight line and not bad in the corners. They'll be very happy with this deal they've signed with Jaguar. And as long as Sargeant is willing to be a little risky with his fuel, if he only has to pit every other lap, he could be running up front with for the rest of the race. Not sure if he has race-winning pace, as George Russell still right there, and a lot of cars, a lot of cars in this pack. This is where the race is at. Sainz is trying to run away from all this potential fighting. Sargeant may have a chance on the straight to overtake one or both AlphaTauri cars. As Stroll now looks for a way, Alonso now looks for a way around Russell. Sargeant very low on fuel. Does he have enough to make it back to the pits, or will he run out? Onto the straight. Will Sargeant be able to overtake, or will he run out of fuel on the straight? Sargeant's out of fuel! Logan Sargeant pushed the car too hard and he is out of fuel on the straight. He's going to tumble down the order now. Everybody going around. Wow. What a disappointment for that team. Alonso catching up to the AlphaTauris. Able to stay out this time, did not have to come in. Neither Aston Martin did. And now Stroll looking down the inside. Alonso covers him off and sets up a move on one AlphaTauri of Nick DeVries and potentially two. Can he get Tsunoda? Trying around the outside, he gets loose. Can he stay in front of DeVries? Yes, he can. Sargeant now 18th, just trying to limp it back to the pits. Sainz, who refused to pit once again, is he going to run out of fuel, or did he have enough? Tsunoda also didn't come in. Neither did DeVries. DeVries is in the red. I think the AlphaTauri should have came in. George Russell, why didn't he pit? He's about to run out of fuel. What is going on here? Oscar Piastri, damage. Bottas, almost out of fuel. Gasly running low. This whole race is a kerfuffle. There are cars on track that aren't going to have enough fuel to get back around the circuit again. Logan Sargeant has already showed us what happens when you run out of fuel. You lose all the time in the world. He has still not reached the pit lane. He still didn't pit. What in the holy mother of God has gone on? Williams just didn't let him come in. Sargeant is stuck on the track with no fuel. This is ridiculous. These AI, man, what the are they up to? Sainz is going to run out of fuel. No way he has enough in that tank to get back around the circuit. No way Tsunoda does. Nor DeVries. Bottas, no way he's got enough. George Russell's out of fuel. Russell going to get passed by just about everyone. Valtteri Bottas about to run out of fuel. Nick DeVries almost out of fuel. Yuki Tsunoda almost out of fuel. Those two are going to be running out very soon. And they're going to run out of fuel right in front of Fernando Alonso. No. No, what was I thinking? They're going to run out in front of Stroll. Alonso has the lead. He got around Sainz. Tsunoda's out. So is DeVries. Stroll. Blocked by the car out of fuel. Finally gets around. Sainz running second with just about nothing left in the tank. Haven't even really reached halfway of this lap. And the track is littered with cars out of fuel. Sainz about to be added to that collection. What was Ferrari thinking? I know they know how to screw up a strategy, but this is a new level of fucked. And car number 55, Carlos Sainz, out of fuel. Gasly looking low on fuel, but that Alpine has been really good on fuel this whole race, so this is Alpine's prime chance to score points. Where's Ocon at? Ocon somehow, with all these cars out of fuel, only 17th. Amazing. Here Gasly carrying the weight of the Alpine team up in 6th. Fernando Alonso now about to reach one of the fast curvy straights, or windy straights. Aston Martin runs 1-2. This looks like Aston Martin's race to win for Fernando Alonso, who still has fuel in his tank. Logan Sargeant, like, just barely has reached the Nordschleife part of the circuit, just cruising around with no fuel in his tank. Alonso with a nice lead over teammate Lance Stroll. Oscar Piastri runs third, will pit this lap. He has damage, but also would have needed to come in for fuel regardless, so just going to be a slightly longer routine stop for the McLaren team of that car. Alonso is nearly 12 seconds up, but he is going to have to enter the pits, thus voiding that fastest lap he has. Maybe that's why George Russell stayed out. He just wanted to get the fastest lap point, but if he doesn't finish in the points, does it even matter? If anybody's going to take that fastest lap, I think it's Pierre Gasly. But that Alpine is looking really low on fuel. But it's the only car that's come close to 3 laps on fuel, and he has front end damage. Magnussen also really low on fuel. Hamilton, who had half a brain and pitted, will be able to make it back around. Albon, who pitted, able to make it back around. Hulkenburg may struggle with the amount of fuel he has left. Perez should have enough. Leclerc enough. Verstappen enough. Ocon enough. Sainz rolling around from the lead in 14th. Just a bunch of cars rolling around with no fuel in their tank. Let's hope other teams don't fuck this up. Alonso now enters the straight. Stroll also on the straight. And Oscar Piastri making his way to the straight with some damage. Warm tires. Alonso 13.5 seconds up on George Russell's time. And out of fuel. Stroll still has a little left in his tank. He may gain some time off that. Alonso now coasting back to the pits. Stroll out of fuel. Alonso into the pits for fuel now. Stroll going to be entering the pits for fuel. Piastri not going to run out. He could take advantage of that. Despite this, he does have a disadvantage. Not able to go as fast on the straight due to aerodynamics damage. Piastri now should be coming in to get some fuel and I believe some tires. Team waiting for Stroll to enter the box. Alonso has already got his fresh boots on the car. Fresh set of hearts for Alonso. Team putting a fresh set of boots on Piastri's car. Lewis Hamilton to the pits, followed by Lando Norris. Stroll on fresh hards, exiting the pits. Oscar Piastri now. Damage repaired, fresh boots, out of the pits. Perez entered the pits with no fuel left in the car, as did Albon and Verstappen with very little fuel left. Gasly did run out of fuel. It's too bad. He was looking pretty good to score points today. Although Ocon might have a chance. Hamilton's damage repaired. Leclerc now damage repaired. Hamilton out of the pits. Norris out of the pits. Leclerc out of the pits. Perez out of the pits. Albon getting his damage repaired. Well, no, he's still getting fuel. Now damage repairs. Out of the pits. Verstappen out of the pits. Ocon refueling. Magnussen with a lot of damage, followed by teammate Hulkenburg, both out of fuel, coming back to the pits. Drivers like Sainz, DeVries, Tsunoda, Bottas, Russell, and Sargeant must be upset knowing their race is good as over. As Norris makes his way around Hamilton. I have a feeling you won't see much more action this race. As the cars out of fuel will be coming in to fill back up. Hamilton under threat, now passed by Leclerc and Perez. Down to 7th for the Brit. Perez has not yet scored points this season. He goes down the inside at the carousel, knocks Leclerc off the preferred line, but Leclerc gets a hell of an exit and stays ahead of Perez. Perez has not scored a single point this season. Red Bull not been happy with their performances. They have a new car, and he is not hesitant to make up for a lackluster start to this season. Didn't score any points in America, but he's going to make Europe a different story. Leclerc pressing Lando Norris. May not have the straight line speed, but Norris has a beaten up car. Alonso and Stroll both came in for fuel, just being precautionary. Does that mean Oscar Piastri will take the lead? No, he has identical damage to Lando Norris. Those McLarens have not been able to keep their cars together and undamaged today. Leclerc, who usually does not have a straight line advantage, will now have the opportunity as they pass Logan Sargeant, who still hasn't been able to pit. Leclerc going for 4th, but Perez on the outside takes them both. Leclerc holds position in 5th in front of Norris now, behind Perez, but does Perez have to come in this lap? No, he does not. But does he decide to anyways? Sergio Perez now is coming down for fuel. Charles Leclerc is staying out. And Norris had damage he needed to repair. Oscar Piastri exits the pits. He blends, still in 3rd. Stroll stays 2nd. Alonso stays 1st. Verstappen in the pit cycle up to 5th. The Red Bulls both in the points. First time we've seen both Red Bulls in the points since Daytona. Is this the turnaround point for Red Bull season? Leclerc up to 4th. Can he be a silent assassin in this race? Make his way back up to the podium, maybe? All depends on whether or not Piastri can keep it in one piece, something both McLaren drivers have struggled with today. Piastri again with damage. Must have made another mistake somewhere on the track. Norris also with damage. These McLarens have been struggling here at the Nurburgring today. Checking in on our guys who had ran out of fuel previously. Sargeant is firing under his own power. Russell, Bottas, Tsunoda, DeVries, Sainz, Gasly, Hulkenburg, Magnussen, all firing on all cylinders once more. Hamilton up into 5th. Did not pit at the end of the last lap. The Red Bulls did. Anyone outside the top 10 looks quite unlikely to score points today, so if a driver's in the top 10, they may advance their position or stay put. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be very reminiscent of your final finishing order. Lance Stroll stays out, does not pit in this lap. He's going to take the lead from teammate Fernando Alonso. Piastri again with damage. Those McLarens can't have a clean lap, can they? With little time left in the race, it looks like Lance Stroll is going to win here at the Nurburgring. He stayed out, did not pit. If he has enough fuel to make it around the track, I don't think Alonso is going to have anything for him. Quite a whiles back. Oscar Piastri, very far back, and knowing him, he's going to damage that car. Leclerc stayed out. One more lap. He did not want to pit in. He has enough fuel, but does he have enough tire to stay ahead of Sergio Perez? And Max Verstappen not too far behind. Lewis Hamilton, 7th. Alexander Albon, P8. Lando Norris in 9th. And Esteban Ocon runs P10. As long as he makes it back in time, he has 10th. But Kevin Magnussen is right there to try and steal away that final point. Pierre Gasly will be the first car to finish the race, but not be the winner. Lance Stroll on the main straight here in Germany at the Nurburgring. Lance Stroll takes the checkered flag and wins. Fernando Alonso, his teammate's going to make it an Aston Martin 1-2. He takes second. Oscar Piastri damaged his car badly. Sergio Perez, who's already made his way around Charles Leclerc, is going to fight for a podium. He hasn't scored a point at all this season, but this is his chance to make up for all of that struggle. And with Piastri's major damage, Leclerc may even be able to fight back up to a fourth, which would really help him in the championship battle. Here they are, down the straight. Perez is going to make his attack. He's in the slipstream. Running out of gear in that car. The McLaren just barely slower. Can Perez get alongside and through? Can he do it? It's going to be close, but I think the McLaren may be able to hold Perez off. Leclerc not fast enough to keep up with him. Can Perez make a move into the final corner? He's right behind. In the slipstream, down to the line. Piastri is going to take another podium this season. Perez in fourth. A great finish for him. Leclerc takes the top five. Max Verstappen, first time scoring points since Laguna Seca, he comes sixth. Lewis Hamilton making his way down the straight for P7. Not his best performance, but still one of the few drivers who has scored points in every race. Lewis Hamilton out of the final corner. Down the line, it's going to be seventh for the Brit. Alex Albon, P8. As Lando Norris comes home P9, picking up 2 points. Kevin Magnussen, who snubbed Esteban Ocon of his chance at a first point, is looking to score points again. Last time out was his first time not scoring. I'm sure he'll be happy to return to his point scoring streak. Esteban Ocon has to be disappointed. He's missed out on points yet again. Here comes Magnussen down the straight and across the line. Esteban Ocon across the line takes 11th. With Nico Hulkenburg the last one to cross the line. There you have it, folks. Lance Stroll, your winner at the Nurburgring. What a performance by the Aston Martins. Alonso pitted with 1 to go to be safe, but Stroll took the gamble and it paid off. Oscar Piastri on the podium again. We're going to see a bit of a shuffle in the point standings. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. This was not exactly the most exciting race, as I really had nothing to comment on for most of it, but next week we head to Spa, and I have a feeling it'll be a little more exciting there. A couple teams may bring some more upgrades. Ferrari is going to need some upgrades to keep up with the pace, and Williams may need to work on that fuel economy, because it was lackluster. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you tomorrow at Spa-Francorchamps.